apps, and more. Find us at LincolnPrintersInc.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. And on the morning show, the morning show, by the way, streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. On the morning show with us on the phone today is Senator Sally Turner. Good morning, Sally. How are you?
Morning, Seth. I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for taking time for us as well. I know that you're making your way around the district here with a little bit of downtime from the legislature. We'll talk about some of those things later on in the program. But the big news this week, Sally, is, of course, the Illinois Supreme Court upholding the safety legislation and its challenge in courts. I'm sure this was of no surprise to any conservative in Illinois. So your reaction, your thoughts on this?
Actually, you're exactly right. It was no surprise to any of us. I think with a 5-2 Supreme Court, that's a majority Democrat, and then you have a Democratic House and Senate. I think we knew that it was going to happen that way.
So when it comes to basically the ramifications of this, Sally, I know it's been a while since you and I have talked about the Safety Act. It's, really kind of been off the radar because it's been in court. It's been in the court system for some time now. So just kind of your thoughts on this legislation. And, I'm sure most of the folks in your district are vastly opposed to it, but just your thoughts on the legislation and what it means for your district.
Yeah, and with this decision, it's disappointing, as all of us are disappointed, because when they fully implement this Safety Act, it's going to completely and broadly change our state's criminal justice system. And most of us don't feel it's for the better. And so this new law, as it'll be implemented, will take away from the judge's ability to exercise their discretion as they normally have, and may very well put known criminals back on the street, and that they'll commit more crimes.
Well, and Sally, so a couple of things off of that. First of all, there's kind of already a sense of this or a piece of this legislation that is in place. And so one thing we hear from law enforcement is that there's kind of already that element of, criminals that come into into custody, they're back out on the streets much, much sooner than they would have been otherwise. And so the recurrence of crime is already happening at a pretty exponential rate. So how about that?
Yeah, well, and another thing on top of that is in September, those that are already in jail will be petitioning the court to get out. So how many people are in, I'm just going to say, in Cook County Jail? Probably hundreds and hundreds of people. They'll be petitioning their circuit court to get out. And those judges will have to examine it, of course, but most likely they'll get out with no bond, of course, and get their bond returned.
Sally, the one thing that Illinois Democrats say about this is that it's about people that can afford to post bail, that they're able to get out, that they're the ones that are able to get out on bond and post bond and those sorts of things. But folks that can't afford it, they're stuck in prison cells or jail cells, whatever the case may be. How about that notion of this bill?
Yeah, all the state's attorneys in my 44th district that I've spoken with say that's absolutely not true, because they certainly don't have the room or the time or the personnel to keep people in jail for small crimes that aren't. There's no reason or no necessity to keep someone in jail and post a bond if they don't need to. They give them a PR bond to appear. And, 9 times out of 10, they'll come back if it's a very low charge. But if it's something that's a bad, extremely bad one, just like burglary, that's not on the list of these when someone doesn't have to post bond. So that it's a very dangerous, slippery slope.
Yeah. Now, the legislature, they did come back and amend the law. I know that the governor signed it, and then I think it was later last summer or something of that nature that the legislature came back together and expanded on. You're talking about those crimes that can be you can be held, those felonies you can be held on. So I guess Democrats could say, Sally, well, we negotiated with Republicans and we gave Illinois Republicans, some of the things they wanted in this bill. Why is that not enough?
Yeah, that's a perfect example of creating a law that you don't have it correct, and you shove it down the throats of your legislators at the wee hours of the night, and it's not correct. So then they have to keep coming back. So from what I understand now, they want to implement all of it and then see how it fares, and then they'll come back and make amendments as needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the way I want my laws in the state of Illinois to be run.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, Sally, that this has been law in Cook County and Chicago for a couple of years now. Like, if you want to see what this looks like, Chicago and Cook County is the place to look.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, look how that's going for them there.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on that, Sally, before we move along this morning?
I don't think so. As I sit in the Kroger parking lot here on 36, waiting to go to our coffee and conversation in Long Creek.
Yeah, for sure. Senator Sally Turner on the phone with us here for this morning. Sally, I'll tell you what, let's talk about that a little bit. You're making your way around the district. You're doing this through a couple of efforts. One is you talked about the coffees you're holding in each community or the communities of your district. How are those going? Where have you been? What have you heard? Who are you talking to?
Yeah. So we've been doing this since my appointment in 21, and then of course I got elected in 22. But our district is so large. We go from just the little bit of East Peoria, all of Tazewell County, all the way over to Piatt County, which is the Monticello area, and then South Macon, and then south of Macon County, which I'm in right now, the eastern part of Macon, and then all the way down to Sangamon. So it's so big that we like to get out and about in the communities and do what we call coffee and conversation, where we just put it out there and invite people to come if they want to visit with us or just find out who I am. That's our coffee and conversations. And then we have another thing that we've started this year, which we really like, and it was called Explore the 44th. So what we've been doing is I go around to different areas throughout our 44th district, pick out a few places, and then do a video on it. And I'll just give you an example. We were just at the DeWitt County Museum about a month ago, I guess it was, and we'll do a video on it, show the different things that are highlighted in there about how cool that museum is and how important it is, and the legacy to Abraham Lincoln and things of that nature. And then we encourage people to go visit those sites and then post that or send us an email that they've been there, a picture of them there. And then they are in the drawing for getting T-shirts and also passes to the Abraham Lincoln Museum.
Sally, I tell you what, as you were talking there, let me take you on a walk with our family sometime at Weldon Springs State Park here in DeWitt County.
It would be delightful. We used to do a lot of camping there back in the day.
Okay.
When my kids were young.
Yeah, so you're familiar with Weldon Springs. I feel like it's a hidden gem of not only DeWitt County, but Central Illinois. So if you're in the area, hit me up sometime. We'll go on a walk.
That would be delightful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll take a trail or something of that nature. But now, do you have other areas targeted, Sally? Like where have you been? You mentioned where you've been, but like, do you have other areas you're targeting where you want to go next? And how do you come up with these ideas?
We also do what we call traveling office hours. So all throughout the 44th, our staff is throughout the 44th, such as Clinton, we have traveling office hours, Monticello, Maroa. We've been to in Tazewell County, into Tremont, Delavan, all those different places. We'll do what we call traveling office hours. So we engage with people during those office hours, and then they might say, hey, we'd really like you to come to our community so you can meet more people and have a coffee here or have something after hours just to get to know folks. So that's how we start with it. We'll do the traveling office hours, and then we expand on that through a coffee and conversation.
Gotcha. Very good. Now, as you do those coffee and conversations, Senator, what's what are folks talking to you about? What's top of mind for people in your district right now?
Yeah, most people, it is just like you and I, that, making ends meet with the problems with our bills being so high with electricity and our grocery bill continuing to go up and the cost of living in general, and also people are getting ready to send their kids back to school. And that is a tough thing to try and come up with your fees to get your kid back in school when you're juggling with, how much things cost in general right now.
Yeah, that's really kind of, as I sit and think about our own situation. That's probably top of mind for us is, how much less valuable the dollars we bring in are now, with rising costs of energy. I mean, goodness gracious, energy alone is starting to blow up a little bit. Additionally, grocery bills, my grocery bills, I can't get out of the grocery store for under 150 anymore. And I feel like we're being pretty conservative in the meal planning we're doing and things like that. I'm not trying to have steak dinners every night. It's crazy what we're dealing with these days.
No, you're exactly right. It's hard to make ends meet. Most of us live an average life, and we have to do meal planning and things of that nature in order to make ends meet. No one expects to be rich in this world, but we all want to be treated fairly and have opportunity to do what it is that we want to do and to get a leg up.
Yeah. It feels like, Sally, a lot of the things we're dealing with are federally based. We're feeling the impacts of all the spending through COVID and things of that nature, all the money that was pumped into the economy. What can the state of Illinois do that would help us at the grocery store, or through our energy bills, or whatever, gasoline prices, all those things? What can the Illinois legislature do that would impact those things?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of things that we introduced last session that didn't get a look. It wasn't on the agenda of our Democrat counterparts, so it didn't come out in committee, and it, of course, then didn't get heard on the floor. But there's all kinds of things. A lot of them are tax credits. One of the things is the tax credit that is right now hoping to be extended for our kids to be able to go to the school of their choice. That we don't know if that is going to be heard in the veto session or not, but we're hopeful it will. There's an estate tax. We talked about that for farmers. That amount of money, if a farm family passes away, those children can't afford to pay for the taxes on that estate and keep the farm. So then they lose the farm and they can't farm it anymore. Therefore, they lose a livelihood. There's a franchise tax and a legacy business tax. All those things are credits that could help. And as you and I talked earlier, Seth, we talked about how the governor's in England trying to probably lift up business and bring business to Illinois, but we need to be business friendly in Illinois in order for those things to happen as well. And we're not keeping businesses, as we know. There's a lot of businesses moving out to other states that are more business friendly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. It's so when it comes to, Sally, just things again that you're hearing from your constituents in the 44th, anything else that comes to mind on what they're telling you, what they're talking about, anything of that nature?
Yeah, one other thing I think is really important, and that's the price of childcare.
Mm.
It's, as you know, you're a parent. It's extremely expensive. Not that our children aren't worth that; they are. But we need to have more or better tax credits for our childcare. That's really important, and maybe a pre-K tax credit that's important as well. And we put out a bill that was I think it was 4187. It was about for companies to get a tax credit for providing childcare, which I believe that one passed. I think that was in the 102nd, which that's a great thing if companies would look at that and provide childcare for their employees.
Yeah, and it's the childcare thing. It's gotten easier on us just because now that my kids are in school, we don't have to worry about that mid-August through late May childcare. So that's easier on us. We've been very thankful that our kids are finally school aged for sure. But and it wasn't even that the kids weren't worth it or the childcare wasn't worth it, because we had great people watching our kids for those years, and we definitely appreciated that. But it was just how expensive it was in our like in terms of what we made versus what we were putting out for childcare. I mean, it exceeded its, it was the most expensive thing actually in our budget for a time there, like that's how expensive it was. And so I just, it's either got to become more affordable, and it's one of those things, wages sometimes don't catch up to your costs and all of those things, and not even like, I don't mean cost, but like your necessities, like you got to have childcare so you can go to work. So, it was just quite a burden when we were sending kids to childcare 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, I totally understand that. We have a daughter that's going to have a baby, and she lives up in the suburbs near Chicago. Sorry, I'm driving now. She lives up near the suburbs in Chicago, and their daycare was like $1,800. It was really, really high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. For sure. That sounds about right. So, well, Senator, again, anything else you're hearing from constituents? Anything you want to talk about that they're talking with you about?
No, it's just about life for them, and I get that. They just want life to be a little bit easier so that we can continue to get through the things that we have to get through, and that's pretty much the big conversation that we're having out there is why are prices so high? What is it that we can do about it?
For sure. Senator, let's take a timeout. Come back with some more. State Senator Sally Turner on the phone with us. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn starting the day slightly higher. Beans also slightly higher. And wheat beginning double-digit higher. September corn opening 546.5, up a penny. December new crop up 1 3/4, 554 3/4. March corn 565 1/4, up 2 pennies. August beans starting the day 14.91 1/4, down 1/4. September beans up 1 1/4, 14.33 1/4. November new crop 14.09 1/4, up half a penny. September wheat 741 1/4, up 13.5. December wheat up 13 1/4, 758 3/4. And March wheat on this Thursday 770 3/4, up 11.5. August bean meal starting the day 446.50, up 270. August bean oil 66.63, up 58 cents. Opening numbers on this Thursday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Yes, we finally have new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels. Custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, high countries. This month, get an extra down payment assistance on all Silverados. Baum Chevrolet Buick. We have inventory. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
Our new 19,000 square foot building at 205 East Washington Street across from Ace Hardware means bigger savings for you. Owner Dave Jackson here from your Clinton Save-A-Lot. With our new building comes bigger selection of meat, produce, dairy, and the items you buy every day at savings of up to 40% or more. Come and see what the buzz is all about by shopping our new location of your Clinton Save-A-Lot at 205 East Washington Street for even bigger savings every day. Hope to see you soon.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. We wrap up our show this morning with State Senator Sally Turner. And Senator, the governor, is once again overseas and across the pond. He is promoting Illinois and at the same time himself, I might add. But be all that as it may, Sally, your thoughts?
Uh-oh, did I just lose you?
I got you
Are you
back.
there?
Yep, I got you back.
Sorry about that. I just was getting out of my car. Let's see, where were we? Oh, the governor in England. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, well, that's great to drum up business, and we're happy to hear that. But I was actually more hopeful that he'd concentrate more on business here in Illinois and see how we can lift our businesses up here and give them more tax credits to help them hire more people, have more jobs here in Illinois, and support our people here in Illinois. And Seth, like you and I just talked a while ago, it seems like as they give more money for us in here's some more money, and we'll encourage you by increasing your pay, and then after that there's no other increase for anything else. I mean, we have to pay more for everything else.
Mm-hmm. Is the Illinois business climate appealing on its own? Without the promotion of potential tax credits or something like that. Like, is the Illinois business climate that appealing to people on just again on its own?
I would venture to guess that if you had an opportunity to go to Ohio to open your car manufacturing, which this has already happened, or to Pennsylvania or to Indiana, that you're more likely to go there than you are to Illinois.
Yeah, or Florida or Texas or these other places that are Illinois businesses are leaving for, right? That's the other thing. So go ahead, Sally. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, I will say that the Blue Collar Jobs Act is, as we can see all around us, that is helpful for our infrastructure, and I'm glad that's occurring. But we need to promote more business to come to Illinois, and whatever those tools are that, the governor comes up with, which is his job to do. What are those programs that can help our businesses achieve what they need to achieve? That's what we need to be looking at. So I hope there's some correlation between what happens with his trip in England, that he brings those things back to Illinois.
Sure. Well, Senator, final minute here with you this morning. Where are you going in the district here over the next month or so before we catch up again?
Well, today I'm just walking in the door to Longview at their community center, Longview Township. And there's some people here to greet me. So I'm walking in the door right now.
Very good. Well, enjoy that, Senator. We appreciate you making time for us. We'll let you get to it and catch up next month.
Thanks, Seth.
All right.
You guys have a great day. Thanks
you do the same. Yep. Again, State Senator Sally Turner on the phone with us here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the morning show. And again, we stream live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. You can also check out Facebook and YouTube for previous videos of our interview show. And you can again also check out the audio on demand tab at DeWittDailyNews.com for interviews as well. Network news once again next.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
.com. I'm Jason Walker. United States trying to determine the fate of that young American soldier who made an unauthorized crossing earlier in the week.